Hey everyone, hope you're having a great day. So today I'm just going to be doing a whole lot of different garden chores around outside, and I figured I'd do a quick video on some of the things I'm doing. It is the end of March, season 5. I'm in the Illinois, Chicago area, right on the border of Indiana, and it's still cold. It's less than 50 degrees outside today. It's like around 48, 49 mark. So it's cold. I'm going to bundle up. I have some grass to smother, so I'll be putting down a bunch of newspaper. I'll be feeding a couple of the beds where I have a lot of bulbs coming up, that kind of thing. I'll be checking on stuff that I sowed early. I don't think anything's coming up just yet. And I also have sweet pea flowers to put in. So I'm going to show you how to plant your sweet pea flowers this early in the season. And I don't know, I guess we'll figure out what else we want to do. I just wanted to kind of get in here and start because I don't know how windy it's going to be, and sometimes it just messes up with the sound if it's windy. So we'll figure out how we're going to do this as we go. So come along with me out to the garden and let's get busy. So I'm sitting here outside, and just, on a serious note with the gardening, I keep adding more and more vegetables and food type crops to my list this year, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. So I have to get out and lay some cardboard. I have to get some more grass killed off and make room for some of the things I wasn't planning on. But I think it's just time to get serious about growing food right now. There's so many shortages going on. They're calling for food shortages this year, and that's kind of scary. I don't know if they're just pushing us to go back to the basics a little bit more. It's not a bad thing to have these skills. So I'm going to help with any of the skill making that you guys might need. So we're going to do everything on this channel, from growing food to canning to freezing to preserving. I've got a dehydrator on the way. We'll be doing some of that on the channel, and I'll be showing you how to put some of your food up for storage for feeding yourself through the winter, as well as gardening. So we're going to go through a lot of basic skills. I'm going to teach you how to make sourdough bread, and we'll do some baking on the channel. And let's just get back to some basics and build some really good skills while we're here. So I think it's just a really good time to get serious about our food, how we're eating, how we're growing it, and not relying on an industry that seems to be failing us right now. So with all that said, let's get going. So here I am, just getting some boxes flattened out. You do want to use plain cardboard boxes. You don't want anything with like a glossy coat or any other kind of weird coating, because this is going to be breaking down into the ground and eventually into your garden and food. So keep your boxes as natural as possible and just get them as flat as possible. You'll want to layer them over each other to avoid any gaps. So any kind of holes, any kind of gaps, make sure you have them all covered up. And then you're going to have to see how my box blew away. You'll have to get everything laid down really well with bricks, rocks, branches, whatever that it is that you have. Boxes, so this is as far as I could go for now, but this is going to give me a good area to put my onion sets, and we're planning on growing some corn. So once we get a load of dirt coming in, this is going to be much better. But for now, what this is doing is just helping get a head start on killing off some grass. And what I'll probably be doing is layering a whole bunch of dirt right on top of this, as well as some straw, and we'll just give it a weed barrier layer is basically what it's going to do. But doing it this early, it's getting a head start on killing off any of the grass that's underneath there and starting off my plot. So I'm hoping to have enough room to do onions here, maybe some sweet potatoes, and then out here in some of this extra space I want to put in corn. So I want to get this all tilled up and have a good amount of space for corn. We have a lot of land. So I mean, we have room to grow food. We just have to get it put together, tilled, cleared, and get it plantable. And we have a greenhouse coming. Actually, I think it's arriving tomorrow, so we'll be putting that up this weekend, and I think it's going like right behind where this chair is sitting. So I can do a video on putting up the greenhouse. What I'll probably do is just speed lapse it and do a little thing on the greenhouse and how we'll be setting that up, how to use your greenhouse. There's my garlic. It's definitely not enough, but it's our first planting of garlic here, and I'm excited to see it do well. Garlic gets planted in the fall, so you'll see it this early in the season coming up. And all the stuff I early sowed, we're not seeing coming up yet, but that's okay because I wasn't expecting it up yet. It got really cold, and those seeds are just going to wait for the ground to warm up. Oh look, I'm wrong. Look, some spinach came up. We have spinach coming up. So with all this cold, despite all the cold, my spinach is starting to push through. That's amazing. It's been like 30 degrees all week. I think the highest it's been this week is like 38. So to see that spinach coming up is amazing. So see guys, you can sow cold loving vegetables this early in the season. Well, I'm a little bummed because this is the nicest day we're getting this week. It's supposed to get up to like 63 later, but it's starting to rain. And I don't know what the rain is going to end up doing to my day. So I do have to get the sweet pea flowers planted though, because I'm going to run you through discussing it, how you do sweet pea flowers. Because they have to soak for 24 hours before you plant them. So I soaked them last night, so I have to get them planted. So yeah, soak your sweet pea flower seeds for 1 day, 24 hours, and then get them into the ground about 6 to 8 weeks before your last frost date. These guys are cool, loving flowers. They'll want to bloom early in the season, not when it gets really hot. They are very delicate, thin petals, and they just don't tolerate heat all that well. You might get some later blooms, but believe me, they'll do much better if you plant them soon. So I'm going to go ahead and get mine into the garden. I was planning on building them a bamboo trellis today. Well, here's a little tour of the front bed. This is the main front bed. Nothing's really up yet, but a few bulbs. This is creeping flax in the front here, if I can talk. We have daffodils. This is a great big climbing, well, it's not even a climbing, it's like a ground cover rose, but it got so big I made it a climber. I put it up on a trellis, and this thing gets massive with teeny tiny little red roses all over it every year. There's daylilies, daffodils, irises all through here. Some great hyacinths, some more irises. This is a mock orange. More irises, more irises. I have a lot of irises. Rose bushes, I have a lot of rose bushes that run through here. So I've got about half my rose bushes pruned. I think I have about 13 more to go. So I'll be doing a video on how to prune rose bushes. My dogs. So we have some rose bushes all through here. A lot of these are David Austin roses. And again, we'll do a video on those when it's time. Like this one's already pruned. So here's one that's been pruned, and here's one that's not pruned. So you can see the difference, and I'll show you how to go from this to this. They're chasing birds. I know I have some peonies in here, more irises. There'll be some catmint coming up. Here is another rose bush, more irises, some daylilies in here. There's some sedum, more irises back there, another rose bush, more catmint. There's just a lot that comes up in here. There'll be a hosta in here. This is my weeping cherry. And there's some hollyhocks over there in the corner, and then it just goes on, and then it wraps around the back, and it gets pretty busy once the season gets going. So I'll be anxious to show you all this when this is all actually filling in and blooming. There's like some alliums that come up in here. It gets very purple with all the salvia that comes up and blooms. It is really pretty with all the purple and green, some white tulips. But there's a lot of tulips planted here and there throughout the gardens. This is us just kind of coming up through some of the back gardens. There's a lot of bulbs planted through here amongst all the perennials. This is more of a shade garden once summer comes in, but it stays sunny during, the early spring. So I can do a lot of bulbs here for the sun plants in the beginning, and then my shade plants come out later on in the season. And up here is the big rose garden that's being extended. So I have some grass being smothered right there so I can extend from the house to the bed. So this is getting enlarged. I have, I think, about 18 rose bushes in here, some daylilies and some perennials, and lots of stuff. There's a few herbs here and there. This is my strawberry patch. I had to remove a big plant in the middle there, so I have to fill that hole in and let the strawberries fill back in with that hole, and then we just kind of keep them at bay with a little rock wall. And I put sweet peas in over here, so I'm going to show you how to build a bamboo trellis. Okay, so I'm going to do this the best that I can, and let's get this going. So it rained just as I was going to put the sweet peas in, and I was like, oh no, I have to put my camera inside and get the sweet peas planted, because since they soaked last night, I have to get them planted today. I didn't know what the rain was going to do, so I already had to plant the seeds, and then it stopped. Figures. So I couldn't record planting the seeds, but generally you just give them 4 to 6 inches apart and plant them just enough to kind of cover them up with some good soil. Generally the rule is twice as much soil as a seed is wide or thick. That's a general rule for planting seeds. So just follow that rule and don't plant them too deep, and they'll be okay. So we're going to build a bamboo trellis for the sweet peas, and I don't have the microphone with me because I don't know what the rain is going to do. So the less the less equipment I have out here, the better. So I'm going to try to talk loudly and hope that this is good enough for the video quality. So let's give this a trellis. So what I did, because I thought I wasn't going to be able to make the trellis today because of the rain, what I did was make a circle, and I planted the sweet peas in the perimeter of the circle, so that when I do my trellis, they're going to be on the outside of my trellis, and I can train them up the trellis. So all you're really doing to make your trellis is you're going to make like a teepee shape, like a cone, and just attach them all together here, and then get some twine wrapped around it. So I'm just going to size it to my circle, and then I can go ahead and tie this off. it's nice and secure. I'm going to wrap this a few times. And tie that off really good. And then I just have to sink it into the ground a bit. Okay, my ground is really hard, so I'm going to see if this weeding tool will help me get these into the ground a little bit. Seems to be working really good. The rain is coming back. It's raining again. Okay, since the rain is really messing up our plans for what I really wanted to do today, I'm going to just do a low layer of twine around the base so that when they come up, they'll have something they can grab onto. And then later on a nicer day, I'll continue to wrap twine going all the way up so that as the sweet peas grow and flower, they'll constantly have something they can get a hold of. But that's basically how you do a bamboo trellis. Well, we got rained out, but it could be worse. It is March. It could always be worse. It could have been being snowed out. So I'm grateful that it's rained. And you know, it wasn't supposed to show up until about 11:30 noon, and we were supposed to get like rainstorms today. So I did know they were coming. I was just expecting them later in the day. So I thought if I got out there like around 8:30, we would be clear and have enough time to do, you know, fit in what I wanted to fit in. But I am glad I was able to get the boxes down. I was able to plant those sweet peas. I did it in the rain, but that's okay. They had to get done because they did pre-soak. So I didn't want to miss out on planting them and having them go bad or do something that was going to make it so they wouldn't germinate. So the important thing was getting those seeds in the ground only because they were pre-soaked. So I don't know how the video is going to come out, so to explain the sweet peas, they're a little bit smaller than an actual pea as far as these flower seeds go. They're just a perfectly round, hard little seed. Soak them 24 hours before you plan on planting. Get your bed prepared, put them in, give them, cover them up about twice as deep as they are, you know, big around. And so just a light layering of soil. Make sure they have a good support. You don't have to make the bamboo trellis, of course. You can grow them up any kind of trellis or up the side of a fence post. I put a couple over on the side of my shade bed where I have like a shepherd's hook, and I'm hoping to maybe tie them to the shepherd's hook and let them grow up there on the corner as well. And just have some pretty ideas. You can do them off like the side of a deck, your pool side, anywhere you can have them climb up. There's a lot of ideas. But sweet peas, they're so pretty and they're fragrant. They just smell beautiful. So they are a wonderful addition to the garden. Just make sure you plant them early. If you plant them in the summer, it's just really going to be too warm for them to perform to their peak, and you're going to miss out. You're going to miss out on how wonderful they really can be. So sorry I couldn't show you how to actually plant the seeds, but we're going to be planting a lot of seeds on this channel anyway. I think for the most part it's pretty self-explanatory to put a seed in the dirt, cover it up. They are getting water right away, so that's a good thing with the rain. So we'll just stay positive about our day. I'm glad I was able to get the cardboard down. Oh my goodness. at least that's done, because I had it storing up in the basement, taking up space, and you know how that goes. So we have a lot to do. It's going to be a busy year. We were nominated as a garden this year for the women's club in our town. They have a yearly garden walk that they do, and we are going to be one of the gardens in the garden walk. So 2 days in June, people come and they tour the gardens and they walk all through the property. So we'll be doing that in late June, and that's going to include a walk through our woods. We have honeybees, so it's going to be pretty busy. I have a lot to do. There's a lot that I want to get done and have looking perfect by the time the garden walk comes along. So I'm excited about that, and I can also bring you guys along on that adventure later on, and everything that we're planning on doing to get ready for that. So that should be fun. So I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please click that subscribe button, and I will see you guys later. Bye.